Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a question. Have you ever faced a moment where everything seemed to fall apart, when pressure, fear, or uncertainty took over and you felt completely overwhelmed? If your answer is yes, then you're not alone. We all face challenges that test our emotions, our patience, and our mental strength. But here's the truth. We cannot always control the situation, but we can train our minds to stay calm, no matter what life throws at us. Think about it. A calm mind is not a gift, it's a skill. And like any skill, it can be developed. Whether you're in a heated argument, facing an unexpected crisis, or under immense pressure at work or home, the ability to remain calm can be your greatest strength. Many people believe that calmness is something you're either born with or you're not, a personality trait that only a select few naturally possess. But the truth is, calm is not an inherent trait. It is a skill. Like any skill, it can be developed, refined, and strengthened over time with conscious effort and consistent practice. Understanding this changes everything. It removes the excuse of, I'm just not a calm person, and empowers you to take responsibility for your inner world, no matter what chaos may surround you. To treat calmness as a skill is to view it like learning to play an instrument or mastering a sport. You wouldn't expect to sit down at a piano and play flawlessly on your first attempt. It requires practice, patience, and perseverance. The same goes for staying calm. You may not be perfect at it right away, and that's okay. What matters is the commitment to improvement. Developing calmness begins with self-awareness. You must learn to recognize the early signs of stress, tension, or emotional escalation within yourself. These might be physical sensations, tight shoulders, a clenched jaw, a racing heart, or mental patterns like catastrophic thinking or snapping at others. The ability to pause and notice these signs is the first step toward taking control of your response. Once you've cultivated awareness, the next step is learning to interrupt your automatic reactions. This is where tools like deep breathing, grounding exercises, and mental reframing come into play. Even just a few deep breaths can activate your parasympathetic nervous system, helping your body shift from a fight or flight state to one of rest and recovery. This small pause can create the space you need to choose a more thoughtful, composed response. Another important aspect of developing calmness is building mental endurance through deliberate exposure to discomfort. Just as physical muscles grow stronger with resistance training, your ability to stay calm improves when you intentionally put yourself in situations that challenge you, whether it's speaking in public, having a difficult conversation, or practicing patience in traffic. These moments act as mini training sessions for your nervous system, allowing you to expand your capacity to stay grounded under pressure. It also helps to create a lifestyle that supports calmness. This includes healthy sleep habits, regular physical activity, good nutrition, and time for rest and reflection. When your body is well cared for, your mind becomes more resilient. It's much harder to stay calm when you're tired, hungry, or overstimulated. Small lifestyle shifts can make a big difference in your baseline ability to handle stress. Equally important is the company you keep. If you're surrounded by constant negativity, conflict, or drama, it will inevitably influence your state of mind. On the other hand, calmness can be contagious. Being around people who are grounded, thoughtful, and composed can inspire the same qualities in you. You become the average of the energy you regularly absorb. So choose wisely. It's also worth remembering that progress in cultivating calm does not mean perfection. Even the most composed individuals experience moments of frustration or anxiety. The difference is that they recognize it, recover quickly, and return to center. The goal isn't to never feel upset, but to avoid being controlled by those emotions. Seeing calmness as a skill transforms it from a passive hope into an active goal. It means you're not at the mercy of your emotions or your environment. You have the power to train your mind, to strengthen your inner stability, and to meet life's challenges with grace and clarity. It's not easy and it's not instant, but with time, practice, and intention, calmness becomes a reliable companion in even the most difficult moments. In the journey to mastering calmness and emotional control, awareness is the first and most vital step. Without awareness, we are like passengers in a car with no control over the steering wheel, reacting impulsively to every bump in the road. But with awareness, we become drivers. We can notice what's happening inside and around us, and we can make conscious choices in how we respond. This foundational skill is what separates a reactive mind from a responsive one. Awareness means paying attention to the present moment with clarity and honesty. It's about observing your thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, and surroundings without immediately judging them or trying to change them. In everyday life, this might sound simple, but in moments of stress or conflict, it's often the last thing we do. Instead, we tend to operate on autopilot, letting emotions take over before we even realize what's happening. Consider a situation where someone says something offensive. Without awareness, you may instantly feel angry, defensive, or hurt, and you might lash out or shut down. But with awareness, there's a pause, a moment where you notice your emotional response starting to rise. You feel the tension in your chest, you hear the racing thoughts in your head, and you acknowledge the urge to react. That moment of recognition is powerful. It creates a gap between stimulus and response. And in that gap, you gain the ability to choose your reaction. This practice of awareness doesn't just show up in big moments. It can be cultivated in the small, quiet ones too. Throughout your day, you can train yourself to check in. How am I feeling right now? What thoughts are passing through my mind? Is my body tense or relaxed? These brief moments of reflection build your awareness muscle over time. They help you understand your emotional patterns, your triggers, and your needs. Breath is a powerful tool in developing awareness. Focusing on your breath brings you back to the present. It's always with you, always available, and completely free. When your mind is racing or you're overwhelmed, simply paying attention to your inhales and exhales can anchor you. It creates a mental pause, a moment of calm that allows you to observe rather than react. Awareness also helps to uncover the deeper layers behind your reactions. Sometimes what seems like anger is actually fear. What appears to be frustration might be unspoken sadness or a need for control. When you are aware, you can dig a little deeper and ask yourself, what's really going on here? This kind of introspection doesn't just help you manage stress, it fosters emotional intelligence, empathy, and better communication with others. In addition to internal awareness, being mindful of your environment is crucial. The sounds, sights, people, and energy around you influence your state of mind. Are you surrounded by noise and negativity, or by calm and clarity? Noticing your environment gives you the option to change it or adapt your response accordingly. You begin to recognize which situations drain you and which ones replenish you. Awareness is not about becoming hypervigilant or overly analytical. It's about being present and honest with yourself. It doesn't demand perfection, it invites curiosity. Instead of beating yourself up for feeling stressed, anxious, or emotional, awareness allows you to meet those feelings with compassion. You begin to understand that emotions are not enemies, they're messengers. And when you're aware, you can hear what they're trying to say without letting them dictate your actions. Awareness is the doorway to growth. It's what allows all other skills, such as calmness, patience, and resilience, to take root. Without it, change is nearly impossible. With it, transformation becomes not only possible, but inevitable. Every time you pause, breathe, and observe, you strengthen your ability to respond with clarity rather than react with chaos. That is the beginning of mastering your mind. Mindfulness is often associated with peace, stillness, and relaxation, but its true power lies in how it builds mental resilience. In a world that constantly throws challenges our way, stressful jobs, difficult people, unexpected losses, and overwhelming responsibilities, mental resilience is what allows us to bounce back, stay grounded, and keep moving forward. Mindfulness trains the mind to handle life's pressures with strength and stability, not by avoiding them, but by facing them with full presence and awareness. At its core, mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It means being fully aware of what you're doing, thinking, and feeling as it happens. This may seem simple, but in reality, our minds are often scattered. We're thinking about yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's worries, rarely rooted in the now. When we're disconnected from the present, we become more reactive, more anxious, and less in control of our responses. By practicing mindfulness, we strengthen our ability to stay present even during discomfort. For example, when stress arises, the mind's natural instinct is to escape or suppress it by distracting ourselves with food, social media, or busy work. But mindfulness teaches us to face those feelings with openness. Instead of pushing them away, we observe them. We say to ourselves, this is stress or this is fear, without attaching to it or letting it define us. That shift in approach builds resilience. You stop being overwhelmed by your emotions and start building the capacity to hold them without breaking. Over time, mindfulness helps rewire the brain. Neuroscientific studies have shown that regular mindfulness practice reduces activity in the brain's amygdala, the center of fear and reactivity, and strengthens the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for rational thinking, decision-making, and emotional regulation. This biological change means that mindful individuals are not just temporarily calm, they become fundamentally more equipped to handle adversity with clarity and confidence. Mindfulness also builds resilience by teaching acceptance. This doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. Acceptance in mindfulness means acknowledging reality as it is, rather than wasting energy fighting what we can't control. When we stop resisting the moment, we free up mental space to make wise choices. We stop reacting blindly and start responding thoughtfully. This mindset is crucial when dealing with pain, setbacks, or uncertainty. Life doesn't always go our way, but mindfulness allows us to meet each situation with grace, not resistance. Another important aspect is self-compassion. Mindfulness is not just about being aware of the outside world, but also about tuning in to how we treat ourselves. When we are mindful, we notice our inner critic and replace harsh self-talk with kindness. Instead of saying, I shouldn't feel this way, we say, it's okay to feel this way. This gentle approach creates emotional safety within, which strengthens our ability to recover from failure and disappointment. The more compassionate we are with ourselves, the more resilient we become in facing challenges. Daily mindfulness can be practiced in small, simple ways. Taking a few minutes each morning to breathe and center yourself. Eating without distractions, truly tasting each bite. Walking slowly and noticing your surroundings. Listening to someone with full attention, without interrupting or thinking ahead. These small acts build awareness and patience, which accumulate over time into a powerful sense of inner strength. Mindfulness doesn't prevent hardship, but it changes how we experience it. It gives us the tools to stay steady amid storms, to face fear without flinching, and to move through pain with dignity. It reminds us that while we can't control every situation, we can always control how we meet it. And in that simple, profound truth lies the essence of mental resilience. How we experience life is shaped far more by our perspective than by the actual events themselves. Two people can face the same situation and have completely different emotional reactions simply because they interpret it differently. This is the power of perspective. When you reframe your perspective, you shift the way you see a challenge, not by denying reality, but by choosing to see it through a more empowering and constructive lens. This mental shift is one of the most effective tools for maintaining calm in difficult situations. Our minds are meaning-making machines. Every time something happens, we instantly create a story about it. If someone cuts us off in traffic, we might assume they're rude or selfish. If we fail at something, we might believe we're not good enough. These interpretations often happen without us realizing it, and they directly influence our emotions and actions. But what if we paused and asked ourselves, is there another way to look at this? Reframing your perspective starts with recognizing that your first interpretation is not the only possible one. That person who cut you off might be rushing to a hospital. That failure might actually be a redirection towards something better suited for you. When we step back and consider other angles, we create space for empathy, patience, and understanding, qualities that lead to inner calm rather than reactive stress. This doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect or ignoring problems. It means facing reality, but choosing a mindset that keeps you in control rather than in crisis. For example, if you lose your job, your first thoughts might be fear, shame, or hopelessness. But reframing allows you to ask, what can I learn from this? Or what new opportunity could this create? This shift doesn't remove the challenge, but it changes your relationship to it. Instead of feeling powerless, you begin to feel capable of growth. One effective way to reframe is by asking better questions. Instead of, why is this happening to me? Try, what is this teaching me? Instead of, this is the worst thing ever, try, how can I use this to become stronger? These questions redirect your focus from victimhood to empowerment. They help you see beyond the immediate discomfort and connect with a bigger purpose. Perspective is also influenced by gratitude. When we train ourselves to focus on what's going well, even during hardship, we create mental balance. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it keeps us from being consumed by it. If you're overwhelmed by a problem, try listing a few things that are still going right. This simple act can remind you that no situation is entirely negative, and that even in chaos, something good can coexist. Another powerful shift comes from viewing difficulties as temporary, not permanent. In stressful moments, it's easy to believe things will never improve. But reframing helps you remember that all things pass. Emotions, circumstances, and even suffering. When you adopt a long-term view, short-term stress loses some of its grip on you. You begin to trust your ability to move through difficulty rather than being stuck in it. Even in relationships, reframing can transform conflict. Instead of seeing a disagreement as a threat, you might view it as a chance to understand someone better or to grow in communication. You might choose to believe that others' harsh words reflect their pain, not your worth. These subtle shifts protect your peace and prevent unnecessary emotional damage. Reframing your perspective is a practice in self-mastery. It teaches you that your thoughts are not facts, they're choices. And when you change the way you think, you change how you feel and respond. This ability is a cornerstone of emotional resilience. It puts you back in the driver's seat of your mind, no longer at the mercy of fear, frustration, or doubt. And from that place, calmness becomes not just possible, but natural. Growth rarely happens in comfort. It happens when we push ourselves beyond what feels easy or familiar. Training through discomfort is one of the most effective ways to build mental strength, emotional control, and lasting calm. While most people instinctively avoid discomfort, those who embrace it intentionally gain a deep inner resilience. They become more adaptable, more confident, and more capable of handling life's unpredictable challenges. Discomfort is not the enemy. It's a signal that you're stepping into new territory. It might be the nerves before public speaking, the burn during a workout, the anxiety before a difficult conversation, or the frustration of failing at something important. These feelings are not signs that something is wrong. In fact, they often mean you are on the right path. Discomfort is a necessary companion to growth. When you train through discomfort, you are teaching your mind that stress does not mean danger. Most people associate stress with threat, and they either panic, avoid, or give up when it shows up. But by gradually exposing yourself to uncomfortable situations, you rewire your brain to stay calm and focused under pressure. You show yourself that you can feel fear and still move forward. That ability is what separates resilient individuals from reactive ones. The key is to start small and be consistent. You don't need to throw yourself into overwhelming situations all at once. Begin with manageable challenges. Wake up a bit earlier than usual. Take a cold shower. Say no to something out of obligation. Speak up in a meeting. Try something you've been afraid to fail at. These moments may seem insignificant, but they are micro rehearsals for bigger moments in life. Each time you do something difficult on purpose, you increase your capacity to handle discomfort when it comes unexpectedly. Over time, discomfort loses its power over you. Instead of being something you run from, it becomes something you lean into. You begin to see it as a teacher, not a threat. You understand that growth, confidence, and calm don't come from avoiding pain, but from learning how to stay grounded in the middle of it. Training through discomfort also builds trust in yourself. Every time you do something hard, you send a message to your brain. I can handle this. That trust becomes a foundation for calmness. When future stress arises, you're not as shaken because you've trained your mind and body to respond with strength instead of panic. This kind of mental training has parallels in physical fitness. Athletes don't become strong by staying comfortable. They improve by consistently pushing just beyond their current limits. The same principle applies to the mind. The more you practice staying calm in the face of challenge, the more natural it becomes. It's also important to reflect on these moments. After you face a discomfort, ask yourself, what did I learn from that? What went well? What could I improve? This reflection helps you extract meaning from the experience and reinforces your progress. It transforms discomfort into growth, not just hardship. There's a deep sense of freedom that comes from no longer being afraid of discomfort. You stop being controlled by fear or uncertainty. You become willing to take risks, to speak your truth, to pursue goals that matter, even if they stretch you. You don't crumble under stress. You rise through it. Training through discomfort doesn't make life easier, but it makes you stronger. It gives you the mental armor to stay calm, focused, and grounded even when things get tough. And that is a strength that stays with you in every area of life: work, relationships, health, and beyond. The environment you live, work, and interact in plays a powerful role in shaping your inner peace. Often, people try to stay calm through sheer willpower, without realizing how deeply their surroundings influence their state of mind. Your environment is not just the physical space you occupy. It includes the people around you, the media you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the habits you repeat daily. If you're constantly surrounded by noise, negativity, or chaos, maintaining a peaceful mind becomes a much harder task. Start by examining your physical space. Is it cluttered or chaotic? Are you surrounded by mess, distractions, or overstimulation? A disorganized environment can create mental confusion and stress. The brain craves order and clarity, and when your surroundings are clean, calm, and intentional, your mind tends to follow suit. Simple acts like organizing your workspace, adding natural light, using calming colors, or including elements like plants and soothing sounds can significantly impact your emotional state. A peaceful space supports a peaceful mind. The people you interact with also have a significant effect on your internal peace. Relationships that are filled with drama, criticism, or constant tension will inevitably wear down your emotional resilience. You may not always have control over who you live or work with, but you do have control over how much energy you give to certain interactions and how you respond. Surrounding yourself with people who are grounded, positive, and emotionally mature can elevate your own sense of calm and well-being. Their energy influences your energy. This doesn't mean cutting everyone off at the first sign of conflict, but it does mean being mindful about who you allow into your inner circle. Are they lifting you up or draining you? Are they helping you grow or keeping you stuck? Cultivating a peaceful mind involves setting boundaries and protecting your emotional space, just as you would protect your physical home. Media is another major component of your environment. In today's world, we are constantly absorbing information from news headlines, social media posts, videos, and more. If most of what you consume is fear-based, divisive, or superficial, it will leave a lasting impact on your mental state. Consider how you feel after scrolling through your phone or watching the news. Do you feel inspired and informed, or overwhelmed and anxious? Being intentional about your digital environment is just as important as managing your physical one. Choose to follow content that nourishes your mind, supports your values, and aligns with your goals. Even taking regular breaks from screens can help your nervous system reset and reduce mental noise. Silence and stillness are often missing from our environments, yet they are essential for peace. Your habits also form part of your environment. The routines you follow, the places you spend time in, and the energy you bring into each day all contribute to the emotional climate around you. If your mornings are rushed and chaotic, the rest of your day may carry that same tone. On the other hand, starting your day with intention through quiet reflection, movement, or gratitude can create a sense of stability that carries into everything you do. Creating a peaceful environment is not about chasing perfection or avoiding all discomfort. Life will always bring challenges, but your surroundings can either support you in facing them or add unnecessary stress. The more thoughtfully you design your external world, the more space you create for internal calm. Peace is not just an inner state. It's something that can be cultivated, protected, and strengthened by the environment you choose to live in. When your surroundings align with your desire for calmness, you no longer have to fight for peace. It becomes the natural background of your life, allowing you to think clearly, feel deeply, and respond wisely, no matter what comes your way. A calm mind is one of the most powerful assets a person can develop. In a world full of noise, stress, and endless distractions, the ability to remain composed and centered gives you a distinct advantage. It is not about being passive or indifferent. It is about being in control of your emotions, your reactions, and your decisions, no matter what the circumstances. A calm mind gives you clarity when others are confused, patience when others are rushed, and strength when others are overwhelmed. When your mind is calm, you are better able to think clearly. In stressful situations, emotions often cloud judgment. People say things they regret, make impulsive choices, or freeze altogether. But a calm mind allows you to pause, assess the situation rationally, and choose the best course of action. This isn't something that just happens. It's a result of intentional practice, learning to breathe through discomfort, to sit with uncertainty, and to respond instead of react builds the kind of inner calm that anchors you when everything else feels unstable. A calm mind is also a creative mind. When you are constantly stressed or anxious, your brain goes into survival mode. It focuses on immediate threats, not long-term solutions. But when you are calm, your brain opens up. You can access deeper levels of insight, come up with creative solutions, and approach problems with a sense of curiosity instead of fear. This mental flexibility is essential in both personal and professional life, where adaptability and innovation are often the keys to success. Emotionally, a calm mind is steady and resilient. Life is unpredictable, plans fail, relationships get strained, and unexpected challenges arise. If you rely solely on external conditions for your peace, you will always feel unstable. But when calmness comes from within, you can face the highs and lows of life with balance. You're less likely to be swept away by anger, fear, or despair because you've built a strong foundation of inner stillness. This emotional regulation allows you to remain kind and thoughtful even when others are not, which often diffuses tension and leads to better outcomes in difficult situations. Relationships, too, benefit from a calm mind. When you're calm, you listen better, you don't interrupt, assume, or judge as quickly. You allow space for others to express themselves, which deepens trust and connection. You are also more likely to forgive, to understand, and to communicate in ways that resolve conflict rather than escalate it. In this way, your calmness becomes a gift, not just to yourself, but to everyone around you. Professionally, a calm mind is a sign of leadership and maturity. In high-pressure environments, the person who can remain grounded stands out. They are the one others turn to for guidance, reassurance, and decision-making. They are not easily shaken, and because of this, they inspire confidence in others. Calmness in the workplace leads to better teamwork, smarter choices, and more sustainable performance over time. A calm mind also supports physical health. Chronic stress can wreak havoc on the body, contributing to issues like high blood pressure, insomnia, and a weakened immune system. When the mind is calm, the body tends to follow. Your breathing slows, your muscles relax, and your nervous system shifts out of fight or flight mode into a state of healing and restoration. Over time, this contributes to increased energy, better sleep, and a stronger immune response. Developing a calm mind takes time and practice. It may involve meditation, journaling, spending time in nature, or simply pausing to breathe deeply during the day. It's about building small habits that bring you back to center again and again. But the effort is worth it, because a calm mind doesn't just help you survive life's challenges, it empowers you to thrive in the midst of them. It allows you to live with intention, wisdom, and strength. In a world that is constantly pulling your attention outward, a calm mind keeps you anchored to what matters most.